The title of the lesson for today is Figurative Language and the Impact of Figurative Language. Okay, before we really get into the lesson, there are some things you will need. You will need to download a copy of the graphic organizer. At the end of the lesson, once you've completed the graphic organizer, you will submit that to your teacher. The links are here for you. It is purely optional, but you can also download a copy of the final text that you will be reading on your own to complete the graphic organizer. I'll also need you to sit up, gather your things, get yourself together, and I want your undivided attention and your full participation. I'll give you a moment to get yourself together. Learning targets. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify figurative language in a text. You will explain its meaning as it is used in a text. You will analyze the cumulative impact of figurative language, such as metaphor, simile, overstatement, oxymoron, understatement, personification, and its impact on meaning. So, why is it important, or what is the purpose of being able to identify figurative language, explain its meaning, and analyze the text carefully to be able to understand how figurative language impact the meaning of text? Being able to do all three of these things helps you understand the text better. It helps you to be able to visualize, which is one of the reading strategies that helps with comprehension. So we're going to go ahead and get into the lesson. So there are some terms that you should know, and I'm sure you're familiar with. You will be hearing them a lot, and you will be practicing these skills throughout this lesson. So the first one is figurative language. It is a word or phrase that does not have its normal, everyday literal meaning. It is used by the writer for the sake of comparison or dramatic effect. Authors use similes, metaphors, hyperbole, and personification, just to name a few, to make their stories more interesting. Second one is an analysis or analyzing, which is what you'll be doing a lot today and it is reading carefully, taking the text apart in order to understand the text better. Follow along with me as I read this poem out loud. With every poem, you have to read it a couple of times to get a really good understanding of the meaning. The title of the poem is A Dream Within a Dream. Before I begin reading any poem, I try to formulate a meaning from the poem if possible. So I know what is a dream, but a dream within a dream, I'm thinking the speaker is in a deep dream. Follow with me as I read it out loud. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now thus much let me avow, you are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep, while I weep. O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? Now I'm going to reread the first stanza and try to make sense of it. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow. You are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I understand when the speaker says that his days have been a dream. And I'm just going to highlight as I pull out key elements in it in this poem. Okay, he says here that my days have been a dream, meaning whoever is talking, whoever he is talking to, I'm sorry, whoever he is talking to, he is not mad at that person for saying or thinking that the speaker does not exist, maybe to that person. The speaker gives the person a kiss, and we see it here. Take this kiss, take this kiss upon the brow. He also says, and in parting from you now. I know that parting means to move away from the person, to separate. The speaker gives the person a kiss. Could it be a goodbye? He would never see the person again? He is saying that although his days or time spent with this person will no longer exist, but hope will never fade away. He will always have hope that maybe one day he will see the person again. And I'm just going to highlight here where he says, I see in the first stanza in line 6, hope flies away. The verb flown makes me think of a bird. Hope is also compared to a vision that can also disappear when it is forgotten. But hope never disappears. And that is why he asked the question, is it therefore the less gone? So here he says, yet if hope has flown, there's that key word, the verb flown, which I think of a bird flying away, in a night or in a day, in a vision. Here he compares hope, I'm sorry, yes, he compares hope to a vision. And then he says here, or non. So here I'm thinking, normally when we have a vision of something and then we forget, it, after it's gone, we forget about it. Sometimes it's even hard to recall the vision after it has gone away. Then he asks the question, is therefore the less gone? So I believe he is saying that hope is all anyone has to keep them going and never give up. Although he will never see this person again, he will continue to hope. Now let's look at the graphic organizer and break down the information I have jotted from my analyzation of the first stanza. So here, in the first column, the line that includes a figurative language has been copied. Then in the second column here, the type of figurative language is placed in the second column, which is a metaphor because hope is considered a bird or compared to a bird or something that flies away, not using like or as, but there is a comparison there. So, in the third column, what does this metaphor mean as it relates to the poem? In the third column, I explain as clear as possible, hope is compared to a bird because hope has flown away. It is also compared to a dream or a vision that is forgotten when one wakes up. But unlike a bird that is never seen again, or a forgotten dream, hope will always be there. And then finally, in the final column, I explain how this figurative language impacts the entire text, or in this case, the poem. Again, I explain as clearly as possible, the metaphor shows dreams and visions may be gone, but hope is all we have got, and that's what keeps us going. That is what's keeping the speaker going, hoping to someday see this person again. Now let's look at the second stanza here and try to piece together its meaning. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep, while I weep. O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we can see or seem but a dream within a dream? So the grains of sand, which are very tiny, portrayed as a human, creep. And I'm going to highlight now in yellow. So here the author says, grains of the golden sand, how they creep. Here I think of a child or a person walking on his tiptoe so as not to be heard, perhaps trying to sneak somewhere. In this case, the grains are creeping through the speaker's fingers. So here we see it says, through my fingers to the deep. So I can relate and visualize this situation, and I'm sure you can too. We all have gone to the beach and pick up as much sand as we can hold in our hands, and within seconds they slip through our fingers, just like we see right here in this picture. Okay, so I make the connection to the first stanza we read earlier, where the speaker believes he can hold on to hope, possible hoping that someday he will see this person again. However, I notice a shift. In the second stanza, he seems to be comparing the grains of sand that is slipping through his fingers to hope. Hope now is slipping away from him. Maybe, maybe too much time has passed away since he has seen or heard from this person, and he is beginning to lose hope that he will not see this person again. Therefore, I notice here it says the speaker here, as you can see, where am I? While the speaker weeps, while the speaker weeps. So definitely the speaker is sad, and just like the sand is slipping away, um, there's a comparison there that the sand is like hope that is slipping away. Okay, we're back at the graphic organizer, and now I'm going to plug in or go through what I have already plugged in. So here in the first column, as you can see here, we've taken the lines from the poem where a figurative language has been used. And then in the second column, as I said earlier, we know that by the speaker using the word creep to describe how the grains of sand are falling between his fingers, we know that that is a human life form. And then in the third column, so what this figurative language means. Here I say, grains of the sand are human-like, creeping. Their feet are each grain of the sand, showing that it is impossible to hold on to every grain of sand. The grain symbolizes hope, and it is creeping away. And then in the final column, how does this piece of figurative language impact the entire text? Well, the personification shows that the speaker is slowly giving up on hope, and this is why he weeps or cries. He is given up. He will no longer see this person who he had kissed goodbye in the first stanza. So remember what we said earlier. In the first stanza, he was holding on to hope. But in the second stanza, just like the grains were slipping through his fingers, he was slowly losing hope. All right, so we're going to try this again, but this time I'm going to allow you to go through the thinking process and pull out some figurative language in this other type of text, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to tell me what type of figurative language it is, what does it mean, and how does it impact the entire text. This is a two-part lesson. You've come to the end of part one. Please begin the second part of this lesson.